Now, J Equity Partners is fast becoming a regional contender on the investment scene. They've recently been awarded Shariah Compliant Investment Firm of the Year 2016 in Bahrain. And Dr Ahmed Al Jawhary joins us today to discuss their performance. A very good day to you. Now, Equity Partners has been established since 2011. So what can you tell us about your formation? How did it all begin?
Actually, J Equity Partners was put together at early 2011. And as you know, early 2011 was right after the aftermath of the financial crisis globally. And there were all these sorts of challenges facing investment banks and financial institutions. And we were very keen to come up with a model that actually fills the missing link, or a prototype that fills that missing link. So the era where when we started J Equity Partners, we had like economic challenges. We had turmoil in the markets. There was frustration. Many international and global financial institutions were going through like restructuring and repositioning. Actually, we were going during that phase. We were going through redefinition of investment banking in its totality, and also the fundamentals and the practices and the conduct of investment banking globally. So J Equity Partners was presented and put together in a way, as I said, to fill this missing link as a prototype. And we managed to actually base it on the deficiencies that existed in the market prior to the crisis. And we believe that with this humble initiative, we managed to answer some of the questions and some of the concerns that were raised by investors, and the trust, the confidence in the financial markets internationally and financial institutions internationally needed to be restored with some creativity and some sort of like a new way of thinking and a new kind of like paradigm.
Now, obviously, the principles of the firm are based on Islamic Sharia and being fully committed towards promoting those values and ethical investment banking principles as well. So what steps have you been taking to fulfill this? Because it's quite a wide brief, isn't it?
Yes, we were very keen actually to display through this humble initiative that we put together that Sharia compliance in terms of like banking and investment is more of like an international and a global kind of like answer to some economic problems. We try to display this in terms of like structuring transactions, so the A to Z of any transaction was subject to different ethical kind of like principles that we were keen to have in different stages of like building a transaction or a product. Actually, we try to plug in the ethical practices starting from the structuring phase and documentation. For example, we are bringing the investor closer to his investment. And this is something that was not typical in investment banking, because usually there are layers and layers of like SPVs and like entities between the investment and the investor. We were very keen to actually be very transparent and precise in terms of like documenting our transactions. We avoided the small prints, which were very common in banking and the banking industry. We were very keen to actually involve and engage the investor himself in terms of being part of the major decisions related to his investment. So he was not just a passive investor giving the investment manager funds to actually manage. We went all the way to come up with a very balanced and a very fair return and reward system that we attach to our investments. For example, the natural pyramid, the ethical pyramid for returns and rewards in any investments and any investment structure is to give the priority in terms of like earnings to the investor. Then the second layer that should benefit from this investment is the shareholder that owns the investment platform. The last party that should receive the incentives and the rewards is the investment manager. In the past 2-3 decades, this was not the case. We had an inverted kind of like pyramid in terms of like incentives and reward attached to investment banking practices globally. So we tried to actually go back to the basics and go back to the logical sequence in terms of like who makes what and when.
And you've been recently awarded Sharia Compliant Investment Firm of the Year 2016. You got that award in Bahrain. So what do you think has made it possible for you to achieve that particular success, and what does it mean to the company?
Actually, I think the uniqueness of the model itself actually helped us position J Equity Partners the way the market is perceiving it and the practitioners are receiving it. We focus on innovativeness, we focus on creativity, we focus on creating smart structures when it comes to investment. We approach the classical asset classes with new techniques and investment and new kind of solutions. So this lent to the success that we achieved at J Equity Partners. And also having a dedicated team. I'm very lucky to work with a professional team who also acts as the GP to the structure, to the platform at J Equity Partners. So they are owners, managers. This helped a lot in actually positioning the model. We also have a dedicated lineup of investors and clients who support us, who believe in what J Equity Partners stands for.
If you had to look ahead in the next 5 to 10 years, where do you see J Equity Partners?
I think we managed to test the model. The fundamentals of the model, as I said, is pretty much different than the classical way of doing investment business. And we are well positioned today to unfold the next stage of growth at J Equity Partners. The next stage involves actually targeting new niches in the market. It involves targeting pockets of opportunity that others overlooked. We are working also on collaborative arrangements with other financial institutions. Our model is based on collaboration with other players in the market, which actually is not very common when it comes to investment banking, because investment banks usually have the full kind of cycle of investment development, investment promotion, investment management within their own setups. For us, we actually cooperate with other players to complement whatever we are strong at, to complement whatever we're good at.
What makes you different from the existing investment banking models and platforms?
Actually, J Equity Partners, at J Equity Partners, we're very keen on having a platform where innovativeness and creativity are the essence of our work. We introduce new structures, new solutions, smart investment structures. We introduce customized solutions for family businesses, for example, who lost faith in the financial institutions. We managed to actually reach segments in the market that were not accessible or very difficult to define. For example, the female investors market. We were very keen to come up with solutions to take advantage of the appetite that was there in the market within this very specific segment. And we also managed to bring some of these values from these niche markets into our model. For example, the female connection. We have an element of leadership in our setup. We are chaired. I think we're among the very few institutions in the Middle East or in the region who are chaired by a lady. J Equity Partners is chaired by Ms. Khulud Al-Rajhi. She is a business lady from Saudi Arabia, and she is very enthusiastic about what we do. She is very well knowledgeable about the idiosyncrasies of doing business in the Middle East. We also have a group of smart female investors who are backing the model up, especially when it comes to transactions where female and woman empowerment, for example, is the essence of the transaction. Also at the management level, we have few talented ladies who are participating and taking J Equity Partners to the next level.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed Al Jawhary, thank you.
Most welcome. Thank you for having me.